Queen Adaeze was in labor, and the entire kingdom awaited the arrival of the heir, King Obinna. A man revered for his wisdom and benevolence paced the marble halls of the palace, his heart racing with a blend of joy and anxiety. It was a stormy night when Prince Ikenna came into the world. Thunder rumbled in the distance as if heavens themselves were happy with the birth of the future king. The midwives bustled around, their faces itched with concentration as helped the queen through her labor. Finally, a piercing cry echoed through the chamber, and the kingdom's new prince drew his first breath. King Obinna rushed to his wife's side, his eyes brimming with tears of joy. "Adaeze, our son is here," he whispered, his voice echoed with emotion. Queen Adaeze, exhausted but radiant, cradled the newborn prince in her arms. "He's beautiful, Obinna," she murmured, gazing lovely at the tiny bundle of joy. The king kissed his wife's forehead, his heart swelling with pride and love. But as the midwives cleaned and swaddled the newborn, they exchanged puzzled glances. Something was unusual about Prince. A quick examination revealed that Prince Ikenna had been born with both male and female organs. The midwives, understanding the potential consequences of this revelation, decided to keep this information a closely guarded secret, known only to the queen and themselves. Queen Adaeze, though surprised by the revelation, felt a fierce protectiveness for their son. "We will raise him with all the love and support he needs," she declared. "No one outside this room must know." The midwives nodded in agreement, their loyalty to the royal family unwavering. Though the secret was sealed, and Prince Ikenna's future was set on a path filled with both promise and peril. Meanwhile, earlier, an evil had taken place in another wing of the palace. The wealthy merchant, Chief Olisa, had also welcomed child on that very same stunning night. His wife, Lady Chinyere, had given birth to a son just minutes before Queen Adaeze. The birth had occurred almost simultaneously, and the palace hospital was a hive of activity. In the course, a maid with a heavy heart and a conscience laden with guilt was approached by a mysterious figure. He was a representative of Chief Olisa, a man with preposition that would change the course of many lives. "Amara," the man whispered urgently, "if Chief Olisa offers you a sum beyond our wildest dream, will you do as he asks? I mean, if he gives you the money that can change your entire generation." Amara's eyes widened in shock and confusion. "What do you mean, sir?" "The chief's wife gave birth to a son tonight, but he desires the royal lineage for his bloodline, and he wants you to switch the baby." Amara's heart pounded in her chest. The offer was tempting, an escape from a life of servitude, but the moral weight of such an act was overwhelming.
"I can't do it. It is wrong."
The man leaned closer, his voice low and instant. "Think of your family. The wealth Chief Olisa offers can lift them from poverty. This is a chance to secure your future." Amara, torn between duty and desperation, made a fateful decision. That night, under the cloak of darkness, she switched the two infants. Prince Ikenna, born of royal blood, was placed in the care of Chief Olisa, while the merchant's son was laid in the cradle meant for the prince. The suite was executed flawlessly, and no one suspected a thing. The following morning, the palace celebrated the birth of the new prince. Obviously, to the deception that had taken place, Amara, burdened by her secret, continued her duties, her heart heavy with the knowledge of what she had done. As the years passed, Prince Ikenna grew into a lively and inquisitive child. He had a natural charm that endeared him to everyone in the palace. Despite the secret of his birth, he was showered with love and affection from King Obinna and Queen Ezinne, who adored him unconditionally. Ikenna was a curious child, always exploring the palace gardens and asking questions about the world beyond the palace walls. He showed a keen interest in the arts, particularly in music and dance. The palace often resonated with the sound of his laughter and the rhythm stepping of his feet as he danced. However, the secret of his anatomy was a constant concern for the queen. She made sure that Ikenna received the best medical care and guidance, ensuring that he understood his unique condition. Despite the challenges, Ikenna remained a happy and vibrant child, his spirit undermined by the complexity of his existence. As Prince Ikenna grew older,
his status changed both in his weight. He started gaining weight massively, that it took him a long time for him to be able to master his new body.
He had an innate talent that was impossible to ignore. One evening, during a royal banquet, Ikenna decided to entertain the guests with a dance performance. The grand hall was filled with nobles and dignitaries from the 5 communities, all eager to witness the prince's talents. As the music began, Ikenna stepped into the center of the hall, his feet light with excitement. He moved with a grace that belied his young age, his feet stepping out a rhythm that mesmerized the audience. The guests watched in awe as he danced, the admiration growing with each step. King Obinna and Queen Ezinne exchanged proud glances, their hearts swelling with joy. Their son's talent was undeniable, and his passion for dance brought happiness to everyone around him. However, as Ikenna's love for dancing grew, so did his awareness of his unique condition. The more he danced, the more he realized that he was different from other boys in his age. This awareness began to weigh heavily on his mind, casting a shadow over his joy. Despite the challenges, Ikenna continued to dance, finding solace and happiness in the rhythm of the music. His performance became a regular feature at royal events, drawing praises and admiration from everyone who watched. In the midst of this dancing, Ikenna found a friend in Ezinne, the daughter of one of the palace's advisors. Ezinne was a kind and understanding girl, always encouraging Ikenna to follow his passion. She admired his talent and often joined him in his dance practices. Their friendship blossomed over shared moments of laughter and joy. Their bond grew stronger with each passing day, and Ikenna found comfort in Ezinne's unwavering support. She was the one person who understood him completely, accepting him for who he was without question. Yet, beneath the surface of their happiness, the secret of Ikenna's birth and his unique condition loomed like a dark cloud, threatening to disrupt their idyllic world. As the prince continued to dance, unaware of the storm brewing on the horizon, the palace remained a sanctuary of joy and love. The extra weight made dancing more difficult, and Ikenna found himself struggling to keep up with the routines that once brought him so much joy. His confidence won as he faced rejection and ridicule from those who did not understand his love for dance. At the palace, Whispers of his weight gain and unusual physique spread among the staffs and everyone around him. Some of the nobles began to look down on him, their respect for the prince tainted by their shallow judgment. Despite his royal status, Ikenna felt the stingy of their disapproval. One afternoon, Ikenna was devastated. Dancing was his sanctuary. That the one thing that brought him pure joy. The thought of giving it up, even temporarily, was unbearable. Queen Adeze, sensing her son's distress, tried to comfort him. Ikenna, my dear, you are not defined by your weight or your appearance. You are a talented and wonderful young man, and we love you just as you are. But Ikenna's heart was heavy with self-doubt. Mother, I just want to dance. It is the only thing that makes me happy. The queen held her son close, her heart itching for him. I know, my love. We will find a way to help you. You are stronger than you know and think. Despite the queen's reassurance, Ikenna's struggles continued. He faced rejection not only from the people around him, but also within himself. His love for dancing clashed with his body's limitations, creating a storm of emotions that left him feeling isolated and misunderstood. The viral outbreak spread like hellfire, casting a pall of fear over the kingdom of Izu. What began as an isolated cases in the outlying villages soon escalated into a full-blown epidemic. The kingdom's healers were overwhelmed, their efforts to contain the virus proving futile as it continued to claim more victims. King Obinna, realizing the gravity of the situation, addressed his people with a heavy heart. My beloved subjects, he announced. From the palace balcony, his voice resolute yet tinged with sorrow. We face a grave threat. To protect our kingdom, we must enforce a lockdown. Stay in your homes, follow the guidance of our healers, and trust that we are doing everything in our power to find a cure. The lockdown was a necessary measure, but it brought unprecedented challenges. The bustling market fell silent, and the streets of the 5 communities were deserted. Families huddled in their homes, gripped by their fear and uncertainty. The once vibrant kingdom was now a land of whispers and worried faces. Within the palace, the atmosphere was equal tense. King Obinna convened daily meetings with his advisors and healers, strategizing ways to combat the outbreak. The royal family was under immense pressure, their every move scrutinized by a desperate populace looking for hope. The revelation that Ikenna held the key to curing the viral outbreak sent shockwaves through the kingdom of Izu. The palace was inundated with petitions and pleas from the desperate populace, all seeking the prince's miraculous blood. Dr. Nneka, who found out that the prince has the traces of his blood curing the whole universe, the kingdom's foremost healer, was summoned to the palace for an urgent meeting. She had been endlessly researching the virus, and her findings pointed to a rare genetic maker in Ikenna's blood that held the potential for a cure. Your Majesty, Dr. Nneka addressed King Obinna, her tone grave but hopeful. Prince Ikenna's blood contains a unique antibody that can neutralize the virus. We must create a serum using his blood to treat the infected. King Obinna's heart swelled with a mix of pride and concern. How much blood will be needed? Will you harm my son? Dr. Nneka shook her head. We will need a significant amount, but we can manage it safely. The prince's health will be closely monitored. Ikenna, who had been listening quietly, stepped forward. Father, I am willing to do whatever it takes to help our people. If my blood can save lives, then I must do it. Queen Adeze, though worried for her son, nodded in agreement. We are proud of you, Ikenna. You have a gift, and it's time to use it for the greater good. The process began immediately. Under Dr. Nneka's supervision, Ikenna donated blood regularly, and the serum was produced in the palace medical lab. The first doses were administered to the most critically ill patients, and the results were miraculous. Those on the brink of death began to recover, their strength returning within days. News of the cure spread like wildfire. The kingdom rejoiced, and Ikenna was hailed as a hero. His name was on everyone's lips, and his bravery became the stuff of legend. The once overweight and rejected prince had become the savior of Izu. However, the newfound fame brought with unforeseen complications. The wealthy merchant Chief Olisa, whose child had been sweet with Prince Ikenna at birth, saw an opportunity, realized that the true heir to his fortune was now a hero. He decided to reclaim what he believed was rightfully his. Chief Olisa sent a delegation to the palace, demanding an audience with the king. Your Majesty, the chief's representatives began. We have reason to believe that Prince Ikenna is not your biological son. He was sweet at birth with the child of Chief Olisa. The revelation was a bombshell. King Obinna's face hardened as he listened to the claims. This is a grave accusation. What proof do you have? The representative produced documents and testimonies from the former maid Amara, who had orchestrated the switch. The evidence was compelling, and the truth could no longer be denied. King Obinna turned to Queen Adaeze, his eyes filled with a mix of sorrow and determination. We must get to the bottom of this. Our son's future depends on it. A thorough investigation was launched, and Amara was brought to the palace for questioning. Under the king's intense scrutiny, she confessed to the baby switch, revealing the full extent of the deception. Ikenna, who had been eavesdropping on the conversation, felt his world collapse. The parents he had loved and respected were not his biological family. The realization hit him like a tidal wave, leaving him reeling with confusion and betrayal. The revelation of Prince Ikenna's true parentage set the stage for a fierce and complicated struggle between King Obinna and Chief Olisa. Both were determined to claim the boy as their own, and their conflict threatened to plunge the kingdom into further turmoil. King Obinna, despite the shocking discovery, had no intention of relinquishing his son. Ikenna has been raised as my son, and he is a part of this family, he declared firmly. He belongs here with us. Chief Olisa, on the other hand, was equally resolute. Prince Ikenna is my blood, he countered. He deserves to know his true heritage and to be a part of his rightful family. The palace became a battleground of emotions and legal maneuvers as both sides presented their argument. Advisors and legal experts were consulted. As the situation remained of conflicting claims and deep-seated emotions, amidst the heated discussions, Ikenna found himself caught in the eye of the storm. The people he had grown up with and loved were now embroiled in a bitter dispute over his identity. The weight of their expectations and the complexity of his situation left him feeling overwhelmed and lost. Ikenna decided to confront the situation head on. He requested a private audience with both King Obinna and Chief Olisa, hoping to find a resolution that honored both his heritage and his heart. In the palace grand chamber, Ikenna stood before the two powerful men who claimed him as their son. His voice, though tingled with nervousness, carried a note of determination. I need to understand who I am, and I deserve to know the truth. But my heart belongs to the family that raised me. I propose we find a way to honor both of my families. King Obinna and Chief Olisa, the chain glasses, the initial animosity pampered by the sincerity in Obinna's heart. Did they agree? Okay guys, watch out for part 2 of this beautiful story. Your eye will be shocked how this story is going. So please subscribe and wait for part 2. See you in the next